Hey there guys, Zach here from WinBeta, and welcome to episode number 43 of the WinBeta podcast for the week of November 27th, 2015. With me is co-host Sean Michael. Hey there, Sean.
Happy purging, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving. And this week we'll be talking about nothing, pretty much. There was very little news this week, a few stories, but since it's Thanksgiving week, I guess it's a week, is it? Thanksgiving week?
I guess now.
Yeah, nothing really happened. Everyone was sleeping all week in America, and Microsoft is American-based, so we get our news from the Americas. But
does Microsoft being American-based ever affect you, Zach?
Oh, absolutely. Where's my Lumia? We don't care because it's not America.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a bit later, but sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so not much stories this week. We're probably not going to go right through. We'll just jump straight in, should we? Straight in with the stories this week. Well, so let's set the stage for this story. On the weekend, the media creation tool, which allowed users to create ISOs of the Windows 10 November update, so whatever you can create an ISO, install it clean, whatever else, was pulled. The tool was completely pulled from Microsoft servers. Well, the start page, or the page in which it was hosted on anyway, and they reverted it to the old one for the Windows 10 RTM, and nobody knew why. It's very rare that Microsoft PR will reply to a comment on a Saturday or a Sunday, but I sent Microsoft a comment on I think it was the Saturday, and they responded on the Saturday. It was like an emergency response thing, and they were like, we pulled the tool because we feel people should be installing the November update via Windows Update instead of via creating ISOs. I thought, well, that's a peculiar...
What does that mean? Jackie Chan.
Yeah, it's like it's a peculiar change all of a sudden. Why now? And they didn't respond to that. So that was their official comment for the night or for the weekend, and that's what we updated our post was. So the original story was Microsoft has pulled the media creation tool as they believe the November update should be installed via Windows Update. The November update was still being installed via Windows 7 and Windows 8.1 users were getting the November update still just straight away. So that was fine, apparently. It was just those who were on Windows 10 or wanted to install Windows 10 clean had to go from 10.240 to 10.586. That was Microsoft's only way of doing it, apparently, according to them. Then on the Monday, so we had a whole day of that story being done with, so Sunday. And then Monday came along, and I got a call from Microsoft, which they were like, we have an update about the media creation tool. Now, before I actually get to that, I also want to point out that the update seemed to have been pulled from Windows Update completely, even though they said it was being rolled out via Windows Update. Not many users were seeing it, if any of them. I didn't see one person say they could see the update. And Microsoft was like, yeah, it's still there. It's just rolling out slowly, which was kind of strange because it wasn't rolling out slowly before. I mean, I could install 10.240, check for updates, and see the update. Then once this happened, I installed 10.240, checked for updates, it wasn't there. So something had happened there. And even though they were saying when the update was still on the servers, or Windows Update, whatever. Then on Monday, I got a call from Microsoft, and they said, the reason we pulled the media creation tool was because of a bug with privacy settings, which made a lot more sense. Now this is kind of their real story coming out. And that, in fact, they did, pull the update from Windows Update. So them saying it was there, just not it would roll out over time, was a load of crap. As was them saying it was because we want people to install it via Windows Update. I guess them saying it via Windows Update makes sense No, it doesn't make sense.
No, it
doesn't make sense
at all. It was because of a bug. They even told you that.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense at all. And it was such a confusing time. Like, Microsoft called me and I was like, wait, so what you said on Saturday, what was that about? And I was like, oh, that was our initial comments because of, I don't know. I was like, okay, whatever. So yeah, that was like ridiculous. It was like,
is that like another word for like not telling me what actually was going on?
I think it was more since it was the weekend miscommunication. I sent a really like, in the subject it was urgent. Request comment regarding media creation tool being pulled, and I thought it was. I did actually mention Windows Update, and she was, and the PR person was like, hasn't been pulled from Windows Update, but we have decided people should update via Windows Update instead, which doesn't make sense because the update was actually pulled from Windows Update, regardless of what they said, saying it wasn't. Then Microsoft came forward. It was pulled from Windows Update, and they've reverted the changes. They fixed the bug, and now it's all back to normal. So the media creation tool's back to the November update. And Windows Update seeing the update again. So everything's back to normal. A few days of it not being anywhere, and now it's back. So Crazy weekend, indeed.
I get, yeah, but do you think it was because of the bug, right?
Yeah, the bug. I should probably explain the bug. The bug. It's a pretty basic bug. Upon upgrading from Windows 10 to the original Windows 10 RTM build 10.240 to 10.586, Windows would forget privacy. Your set privacy settings. So if you'd set them all to off or to do like to send the least amount of information, Windows will forget you did that and set them to default, which I believe is to submit all data. Users.
What they got in trouble for? Because people didn't like that anyway.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like it wasn't like, oh, we accidentally turned all your privacy settings off. Well, if you really want us to get your data, make sure to flip those toggle switches. It was like, hey, you know that thing you all kicked off about, and then the like websites had how-tos on how to turn them off. Well, we now have a way for you. We've actually turned those all back on accident.
Yeah.
And it's like that's I can see why they kind of freaked out and they said, look, people already crash on us about, privacy and data collection and that sort of thing. So I think they kind of overreacted some.
So yeah, they fixed their situation and things are back to normal. Hooray!
Yeah, thanks for telling me about the mics, guys. Yeah, well, there you go. All right. Well, we got news this week, I guess. Like I said, if you have any more suggestions, let us know in the comments. Because we're doing a lot of discussions today, which is fine. I actually like discussing Windows and tech with you guys and Zach. But Cortana is rolling out to iOS beta testers that signed up to have Cortana show up, which is cool. That's about it in terms of the news front. I don't have a hands-on video. I haven't seen a hands-on video. It's there. I'm still confused on who'd be using Cortana on an iPhone, not because I don't view it as useful, because I think it could be useful, but because I don't see iPhone users wanting to use a Microsoft personal assistant. That's I think what would hold people back. I'm sure it's nice if you could set a reminder on your phone and have it show up. I actually did this earlier today, or I guess said it last night. It went off today. I wrote a reminder using a stylus in my own handwriting on Cortana on my Surface, and then it showed up on my phone with the image of my own handwriting.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Which is like legit. So I can see like why Cortana is useful. But I think a lot of iPhone and Android people will be like, I don't want a Microsoft personal assistant. I have Siri and I have Google now.
Yeah, so the app itself is running out via, I think Apple iOS calls it test something. I can't remember. But
yeah, so it's still testing.
Yeah, it's still in testing. Microsoft has told iPhone users to test a few things. They want people to test setting reminders on your Windows 10 PC with Cortana to see how it works on your iPhone. Rely on Cortana to organize your meetings and see whether she can help you have meetings on time conveniently. Check your interests on proactive canvas. Interest on proactive canvas and see whether you can get the latest info useful for you, and communicate with Cortana and see whether she can talk with you like a real personal assistant. There's also a couple of known issues. It doesn't support people-based reminders at this time. The UX for calls, SMS, calendar, and reminders are a little rough and can't add, edit, delete favorite places. So I imagine that will all be fixed before it rolls out to the public.
Like a beta. We're gonna have to go get an iPhone now to be able to test this on yourself.
I have an iPhone right here, but it's broken.
You have to do it. Are you signed up?
No, I didn't sign up.
What?
I didn't care.
Yeah, I don't either.
It's iOS. Who gives?
I think it's cool. We talked about this before. There are tons of people that have iPhones that have PCs. And if it's their goal to get people using Bing by having them use Cortana, then this is a good idea. It's just the question is it going to be in practice? Is it actually going to work?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like you said, I don't think Windows users will want to use Cortana. I disagree because a lot of iPhone users are Windows users as well. I mean, a lot of people who own an iPhone just have an iPhone. They haven't bought into the ecosystem of Apple. They just own an iPhone, but then have just a normal laptop at home. And if that has Windows 10 on it, I'm sure they will be happy to find out that it's more synced up than they originally thought.
Oh, can I tell you something today? I went to football practice. Don't worry, this comes back. And one of my teammates had a Surface 3 running Windows 10. And I just grabbed them and I was just like, I like you 10 times more now because you have a Surface and you're running Windows 10. And then the guy next to him was like, oh, Windows 10, what's that like? I've kind of been resistant because I'm on 7. And I was like, oh, it's like, oh, people care about Microsoft in real life. It's like, finally, my life's work for the last year, people actually care about it. It was very interesting. So, no, like I told you, I think it's a good concept. I'm curious. I don't think that many people will do it, but I totally see why you would do it. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah. So there you go. That's about it for Cortana, yeah?
Yeah, pretty much.
Do you use Cortana on your PC and your phone like back and forth? Or do you actually do that?
I use Cortana. The most I use Cortana for is the tell me a fact command and the tell me the weather. And like, what's the weather like on Monday? Like, seriously, I think you might not be able to hear this, but the audience should. If I ask Cortana, tell me a fact.
Melbourne was once referred to as Batmania.
No?
Thankfully, it never became Gotham.
Yeah, see, she just says stuff, and it's like, you know, Melbourne was once referred to as Batmania. Thankfully, it never became Gotham. Did you know that? Like, she just does a bunch of stuff. Like, I don't use her.
Like, reminders?
I don't use her for seriousness. I mean, Cortana reminds me to do things that I don't set. Like, Cortana reminds me to what does Cortana remind me to do? She always reminds me. She gives me a suggestion of when I should leave work or leave for work, because based on traffic, which is always handy, because me trying to get down the road up here in the mornings is just not happening. So
especially today with like torrential rains and it's nighttime and it's like just terrible.
Yeah, just Cortana's useful in her own special ways if you know how to use her. I mean, I don't take advantage of everything Cortana has to offer. Like, I'm not using her for news. Like, she has the news feature down here. Like, she brings up like technology news and stuff. I don't use that. In the notebook, all I have on is meetings and reminders, weather, travel, and if I could set, I don't know why it doesn't work here, but I would love it if she would track my packages. She doesn't do it for reasons unknown, but that would be nice.
But you and packages don't.
Yeah. You know, I had my Lumia 950 XL on pre-order from Microsoft, and they were like, "Yeah, we use UPS." And I was like, well, that's interesting. So I cancelled the pre-order. And now I'm going to go and get in person, so whatever.
Someday UPS is going to offer us like a sponsorship deal, and you're going to like turn it down.
We'll give you lots of this money.
I can't.
I don't want to, sorry.
I can't advertise you guys. No, sorry. You could be like, no, I'll advertise for FedEx. Royal Mail or somebody's competitor, but not for UPS. You have such bad luck with them delivering packages.
Yeah, it's just...
You follow Zach on Twitter. I feel like it's once a week, or at least once every few weeks. It's like, waiting for a package. Says it'll be here by 9. Bet you it's not.
And it's not. It never is.
It's not. Like, every time, it's not.
Amazon, on the other hand, are great at delivering. Although, as of lately, they've been a little bit cheeky with my packages. They've... before, because you can set your preferred safe place, so if you're not in, they just put it somewhere. But now they never knock. They just don't knock at all. They just put it in the safe place. And I won't know it survived, and I'll be like, where is it? I'll look in the cupboard, there'll just be the package sitting there. It's been there for like 5 hours. But what is this? Knock, I'm in.
We used to get packages at my house. They'd like leave it like because they don't want people to steal it. They'd almost like hide it. But you hid it from me. I want my package.
See, like, I'm not going to say where my safe place is, but you can tell them, so I know where it is, because I've told them. And so I'll just look there. But it's like, I was in. You should have just knocked. You didn't even try.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Even Domino's will call you when they deliver a pizza. So, like, you think UPS could figure out somewhere to contact you?
Yeah, Domino's. You'd be like, "Hi, yeah. Don't knock. Can you just leave it in my preferred safe place?" Thanks, Domino's.
Can you shove the pizza in the mail slot, Domino's?
Yeah, it's small enough. I only ordered a single.
They're shoving cookies in there.
You can hear it just rustling through.
Yeah.
Here's the pizza.
Cheese that gets scraped off on the top, though.
Yeah. Oh well.
Anyway, you can tell we're a bit hungry.
Yeah.
So I guess that's it for Cortana.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. A little bit of news story here, I guess, for me, but for those that are on Windows 7, this probably actually affects them a little bit more. Microsoft is going to be cutting support for versions of Internet Explorer before IE 11. It's a very cool mug. Before IE 11, they're going to be cutting support as of January 2016. So that means it's not just obviously you can keep using it if you really felt like it, but it means that they'll no longer provide security updates or technical support for older versions of Internet Explorer. So, like I said, if you're on Windows 10, that affects you very little. But if you're on Windows 7, or if you're one of those people that we see about in statistical reports that's on older versions than that still, then I guess this could affect you somewhat. Do you think this will actually affect anything, though, in terms of, will people switch away from IE 10 in order to get updates or something like that?
No.
No.
I don't think many.
I'm not even aware of all the Internet Explorer security updates.
I don't even know. I don't even know what the most popular IE version is anymore. I know it was IE 6 for a long time, and then I think it was IE 9, but I don't know now. So
I'm a big fan of IE 11. I actually wish some of the features from, because that was the touch friendly one, yeah.
IE 11, what, from 8.1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't that 11, or was that?
Yeah, that was IE 11. It was just a different.
And it had like swipe gestures, and it worked really smooth. I actually like that quite a bit. I wish they took some of the things from IE 11 and Edge that haven't made the jump yet. And other people agree. One of the commenters said that. It's scrolled past now, so I can't say who it was. Yeah, someone said I still use IE 6 because it has Windows Explorer integration. So, I mean, people are on older versions. So I think cutting support will be a little frustrating. But I don't think someone's going to update to Windows 10 just so they don't have to deal with that. You know what I mean? Or to IE 11 or whatever. So
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's about it. There's no other details that I think worth it there. We got other stories though, because we got what we're doing today, Zach.
What are we doing today?
You are going to start us off, but we're going to talk about the Lumia 950 ad infinitum. I mean, we're going to go through every pixel, everything, all the comment. You got a question about the Lumia 950? Zach and I, who both don't have one yet, but Zach is actually, you've handled one, right?
I've handled one, yeah.
Okay, so Zach and I, who don't own these devices, are going to answer every question you have, and we're going to talk about button placement. So go ahead, Zach. Get us started. What are we doing with this glorious segment?
Shall we get straight off with the fact that they were released this week? Because that's probably
not for us.
Not for us. We'll talk about that. So the whole world received their Lumia 950s and 950 XLs this week, other than the United Kingdom, in which both of us are based. We don't get ours until next Thursday, so we have a whole 6 days to wait. If you've been invited to the Windows Lumia launch events, you get yours a day before if you buy it on the night. But other than that, you've got to wait. You've got to wait a whole week because Microsoft doesn't give a crap about anybody who doesn't live in America. So, seriously, I think France got theirs a few days ago. I mean, a lot of countries received theirs today on November 27th.
India's the same.
I think India and a few other countries are December 1st.
Yeah, so early December, yeah.
Yeah,
so, I mean, it's not like it's just the UK. It's just anywhere but the US.
But I'm pretty sure the UK is the very last country on the entire planet to receive them. It's like the UK is the last country that actually is getting the devices, and then you've got the countries that don't get the devices.
They were over there in Vatican City. They're using Lumia 950s, but they haven't shipped them yet over to the UK.
No, we're just whatever. And I know they're in the country because because they're in the country.
I know they're here. I've seen them.
Yes, I've seen them. I just haven't been able to buy one with my own money. It's not fair. But yes, they were released and reviewed. Did we talk about the reviews last week?
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah.
All right, so we won't talk about the reviews, but we can talk
about whatever. But...
We can talk about what we think of the devices because of the reviews we read. I guess I don't know. People aren't too pleased, are they, with the build quality at least? Now, I know for a fact that the 950 XL is a lot better feeling than the 950. I'm not sure what it is, but it definitely feels better. Not only that, there are these Mozo cases that you can buy are also pretty good. Apparently, they fix a lot of problems, a lot of premium quality feeling problems. So if you're gutted that the 950 and the 950 XL don't feel up to par against an iPhone or a top-end Android device, buy yourself an external case. Take it off.
Well, it's not even. It's cool because it's not just a case.
Yeah,
it's actually
it replaces the shell.
Complete back removal, which means that you get a new cover without adding bulk to your phone, which is cool. Also, number one thing. This for me personally. Obviously, whatever the other people's opinions is completely different. Number one thing for me. That camera bump on the 950 looks so bad, and I don't mean that it goes up. I mean, the gigantic silver ring. Are they trying to make it Kylo Ren's mask from the new Star Wars movie? Like, what are they doing with these giant metal rings with like grooves through them? It looks really. And then you look at the 950 XL and it's like, oh, it looks like a big old like flat. It looks so much better. I think that little camera bump is every time I see a 950, the first thing I see is that, like, in my opinion, very poor looking camera ring.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Do you agree with the ring part?
The ring on the 950 isn't the best looking thing I've ever seen, but
and the case doesn't. The new covers can't fix that.
No, but the 950 XL is very nice looking.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I agree. I think it looks really good.
I think the back looks great. What else are we going to say? Yeah, people have reported that the devices do get warm when under heavy use, but no one's been burnt yet. Unlike with the 930, when I pick it up, I die when it's updating apps and stuff because it's so.
Do you remember when you were doing those early Windows 10 builds? You're updating to like 10, like really low numbers on a Lumia 950, like 930, you can almost shove that in a refrigerator.
Oh, sometimes you had to. Like you've probably seen some of the videos I did. I'm there like trying to not touch the phone because it's too hot. Seriously, you would like sometimes it still gets hot for no reason. Like I'll put the phone on charge at night, the 930, and I'll wake up in the morning and it'll be like warming my bed. And why is it so hot? And then you just have to. The fix is just turn it off and on again, as that fixes most things in the world. Turn it off and on.
I mean, we don't need to get into this. I've always thought the Lumia 930 was like a flagship with flaws. It was like, looks like a flagship, specs like a flagship, doesn't always work like a flagship.
Yeah, and I guess the 950 and 950 XL have, inside is a flagship, it performs like a flagship, just doesn't feel like a flagship, which is, to be fair, I feel like it should feel like a flagship first.
Yeah, I mean, looks are important. Does it? Because people are complaining about the polycarbonate, but I got a question for you.
Sure.
To use a Seanism. Aren't there, to have wireless charging, you can't have a metal back? I think we've talked about this before.
I'm sure there's ways around it. I'm sure there is.
Is it the Samsung Galaxy, a premium phone?
Yes.
What does that look like? Is that all metal back?
The 6S is, I believe. I'm not sure.
I'm looking at the S6. Though I think my computer's slowed down here now.
Yeah, the S6, not the 6S.
I'm looking at the S6, and I don't think it looks that great. It's got a big old square camera. I guess it's metal, which people think looks cool, I guess. But like, look at the 6S, it looks nice with the low bezels, and it's a very sleek phone. But like the back of it still has a big old bump. I don't think it looks that different. I'm not sure why people get so upset about this. Do you?
No, I mean, I'll live without.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong. I do like the aluminium edging on the 930 mixed with the polycarbonate back. I do think that's a very nice design aesthetic. But I think I can, like, I have a 640 XL here, which many people have told me. The 640 XL and the 950 XL, they kind of feel the same in the hand, which I can see why. I mean,
I can see, yeah.
And I don't think this feels like a bad phone. I mean, it doesn't feel like I'm holding an iPhone, but at the same time, I don't feel like I can do this with an iPhone. Whereas with this, I don't really. I can kind of. I feel a little more safer holding it and just kind of throwing it about and putting it in my pocket and whatnot. So I'm hoping with the 950 XL, I feel the same because there's nothing worse than having a new phone and just feeling like you can't touch it because it will break. And with the 930, since it's so heavy as well, I get that. When I first get it, not anymore, I don't care anymore. But with the when you first buy a new phone, you kind of pick it out the box like, this will be protected.
It's like a baby.
15
it's like a
cases
small child.
Yeah, 4 screen protectors. It will never leave my pockets. I'll only use it over carpet, so I can't drop it on hard and break it.
Anytime that there's like a sink, it's in like 3 layers of clothing, and when it's raining, you don't even go out that afternoon.
Yeah, but with these plastic back covers, you kind of just look at it, you go, okay, there it is, whatever, throw it away, throw it on the sofa, whatever, do what you want. It's like. It's more convenient in a way. I guess we are picking very minor good things over not having a premium body. But yeah, I mean, there are some advantages of not having a premium body. Not only that, you can actually take the back cover off of the new devices, which is not many. I don't think many flagships allow that? I know the HTC ones don't.
Yeah, a lot of it. To me, the Lumia. I agree that the 950 isn't the best looking phone. 950 XL to me looks pretty good, and exactly as I said, people are saying. Remember, I said like months ago, when people hold this phone because it's 5.7 inches and it's thinner, people are going to say, "Oh, it doesn't feel as big as it is." And lo and behold, what's the thing you see all the time when people are holding that phone? Doesn't feel as big as it is. It's a good phone. It looks nice. And it's got these things that wireless charging, micro SD support, good base amount of storage, high-end camera, good, the XL has the 810 Snapdragon. And it's just little things like that to me, they say, oh, it's a flagship. Magnesium doesn't make it a flagship phone. Flagship phones are going to be great phones. Like the Lumia 1520 still performs well today, and it's years old. That's what a flagship to me should be. It should run well, do amazing in terms of performance, and I don't want to say future-proof because it's not existent, but for years to come, you shouldn't feel restricted. You shouldn't be trying to run an app and it won't work, or taking photos and they don't look good. To me, a premium device means that it works premiumly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think magnesium on your back doesn't make it a good phone. In fact, not having micro SD or wireless charging and some of the other features makes it a worse phone, in my opinion.
No, I mean, that's absolutely a lot. I mean, it all depends. It's opinion, right?
I guess, but maybe this comes down to iPhone's easy. You pick it up, it works. You know how to use it. And without removable backs and stuff, you don't have to worry about it. So maybe that's part of it. But you know what? One of the things with phones, I have a friend who's studying product design. And he was talking about phone batteries break down so quickly. And then it's expensive to replace a phone battery. If it's closed phone, you have to send it in and they have to do all this stuff to it. Mm-hmm. On a 950 XL or a Lumia 950, you could just get a new battery.
Yeah.
You don't have to buy a new phone just because the battery doesn't work anymore. So just little things like that make it a better phone, in my opinion.
No, of course. And again, the micro SD expansion slot, I think, is a big selling point there, because I can buy a 200 gigabyte SD card and have 200 gigabytes worth of storage. Like I was talking to someone today about they're looking to get a new iPhone. They're looking to get an iPhone 6s, and I was like, but the iPhones around because we were comparing prices of the new XL and the standard iPhone 6, I believe it is. So the iPhone 6, the 16 gigabyte iPhone 6.
16 gigabyte.
Yeah, 16 gigabyte iPhone 6s, the 4.7 inch one is $539. The Lumia 950 XL.
It's in pounds for anyone listening.
Yeah, £539. The Lumia 950 XL is, which is a 32 gigabyte device, keep in mind, is £529. So it's £10 cheaper for starters. Not only that, you kind of get more. You get an expansion slot, so you can have 200 gigabytes extra. Whereas my friend would only have 16 gigabytes non-expandable, 16 gigabytes of storage, which is hilarious. Not only that, their screens aren't as high. I don't believe they're as high res. Maybe they are now. I don't remember. But yeah, it's like I may be getting a worse build quality, but I get a lot more. I get a number of other things, whereas you don't. You may get a lot of apps, but I don't need a lot of apps. I'm not someone who the app gap doesn't bother me as much as it would bother.
We'll get into that in about 3 minutes, but
yeah.
I agree. I mean, I was talking to my friend, and he said he gets his phones as hand-me-downs. So I think he's got siblings or whatever. So he's he gets iPhones because that's what gets given to him. And that's fine, whatever. Especially because it wasn't his choice. I'm not going to judge him. And if you like a phone, that's your thing. But for me personally, 16 gigabytes on a phone in this day and age isn't great. I mean, operating systems alone take up how many gigs? I mean, out the box, what does the 16 gig iPhone have left?
Between it's video, like 11 gigabytes.
And between photos and videos 13. And your apps and everything, it's just going to fill it up. I mean, it's just going to happen. So, yeah, anyway, so that's that. Let's move on to a little other things about the 950. Which button placement setup do you prefer? The 950 XL or the 950?
Honestly, I haven't used the 950 XL long enough to have a better choice, but I'm not too convinced by what I've seen. Because I imagine myself, I do it now on the 930. I'll be trying to I won't be looking, I'll be trying to turn the volume up and down, and I'll be locking and unlocking the phone, thinking it's the volume up button. And it's
I think isn't that the argument though, that now the top button is up the middle one, so you could like feel it. You could be like top, off, volume down. So the bottom button is volume down, the top button is volume up. I could see the reasoning behind it, but I do think people take.
It's going to take a little bit getting used to. I'm sure after a little while it'll be fine though. Yeah.
So there you go. There's that.
And it's weird. It's only the 950XL that has that design. The 950 standard's just the normal volume up down lock.
Yeah, and then the dedicated camera button. Which I like.
You know, we should ask the audience. What device are you looking to get? The 950 or the 950XL?
Our listeners like the 950 XL. I think.
I do as well.
I think it was Dylan who was saying that he really likes it.
I'm going to compare the 950 XL to the 640 XL, just because they're the same size.
Just because they're the same size.
Why not, right?
I have a Sharpie pen and a phone, and they're the same size, so I'm going to compare them.
Yeah.
Anyway, is there anything else about the? You had a story about Microsoft support in the Lumia 950.
Oh, yes. Loads of people asked me, because it came to light this week that the 950 XL model in the US, the unlocked model, is a dual SIM variant, which is rare for the US, really, and a lot of other countries. So I asked Microsoft if that was going to be the case in the UK. I asked Microsoft support on the Microsoft Store website. They said no. It won't be dual SIM, it's a single SIM. I said, okay, tweet that out. And then I received a tip saying there's only one variant of the 950 XL, and that's a dual SIM variant. So, I don't know. I mean, I will find out on Wednesday, and I'll tell you all on Wednesday whether the unlocked 950 XL in the UK is a dual SIM or not. But, I mean, I might actually be able to have a go on one beforehand. I believe Microsoft's trying to sort me out with a session, but I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe it's shipping with 2 SIM slots, but you can only use one of them.
No, yeah. See,
none of the carriers support dual SIM for that phone or something.
I'm not too pleased. If it's a dual SIM, I won't be too pleased because I don't use dual SIM. There's no need for me to have a dual SIM phone. Not only that, you can't turn off the second SIM, so the phone always thinks the second SIM slot is just not available. So it shows up on the phone saying phone 2. You get the Wi-Fi signal saying there's Wi-Fi. You get the cellular signal saying there's no signal, whatever else, and it just constantly sits there. And I think that's going to be really annoying.
Oh, now I hope that there is a single SIM variant.
Yeah, and even if there's not, I mean, I will live, but it's just, I don't know. First world problems, guys.
There you go. Well, you mentioned the app gap. I guess we talked about that. Now, we had a poll this week on it. We actually talked about this a bit last week, to be fair, so I don't think we want to retread too much of this. Because last week we talked about the Lumia 950, and then we talked about the app gap. So we don't want to upset our lovely listeners here. But we did a poll, kind of like as a follow-up, and it was on what you think will close the app gap the most out of the projects for porting and then the universal app platform. And so the options are Project Islandwood, which is for iOS code to be used to make apps. It's not much porting in this way that Astoria was. And then you have Project Centennial, which is for converting Win32 apps into apps. And then you have Project Westminster, which uses website code, which it's literally, there isn't enough of a sliver on the poll for it to even show the number. I have to hover over it because it's 2%. And then the universal app platform in general. And we talked about this last week, Zach, but let me just get the poll results. Islandwood's got 50%. This over 1,700 votes. Islandwood's got 50. Universal's got 37. Centennial's got 193, and Westminster's got 2%. So, yeah, there you go.
Just circling around to the question I asked, everyone said 950 XL.
Yeah, that's true.
They want an XL. Yeah. I mean, bigger is better these days, right?
Well, it's bigger, but doesn't feel bigger because of the design.
Yeah. If you had the money, 950 or 950 XL?
Oh, XL, duh. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Not even a question.
So what is your... See, because I look at the 930 now and I think you're just too small.
Which is weird.
Too small. Yeah, because it wasn't too small.
We used to think that was big. Now it's like... Yeah, no, I think it's perfect. Let me have a comment. I have a comment on this app gap thing. I'm not that surprised by the results. Islandwood is iOS very popular, so if you can use iOS code to make apps, I'm not surprised that people think, yeah, Astoria is kind of dead. Is Astoria really dead? We can talk about that after this if you have any details. But I put in the article, I said it's at least unconscious, at most dead. So anyway, I'm surprised that people. I don't know if converting Win32 apps is going to be that successful because there's word that you might be able to support Win32 apps on phones. So I think the desire to port it isn't going to be there if they just can run them. But I'm surprised Westminster's not more popular because there are web apps for a lot of things where they don't have apps on the Windows platform. And I would think that people would say, well, we have a web app. Why don't we just use this code and make it? I would think that that'd be more popular, but apparently it's terribly unpopular. So we'll see. Yeah. Do you have an update on Astoria? Because we've kind of bounced around some of the details.
There's not really an update. I believe I've already said this. It's on hold. I don't believe they've killed Astoria. Just that they're not planning to do anything with it anytime soon.
Because like the website went down, I think, but then it was back up.
I think they said
so
it was an issue of some kind. But yeah, I mean, Astoria is an interesting one because the people who work on it really enjoy. Like they were cool with what they were doing. Microsoft killed it off for a number of reasons, but they haven't. I haven't heard anybody tell me that it's not coming back ever. I've always been, when I've asked about it, they've always said it's on hold, which doesn't mean it's dead. Just it's on hold.
Redstone.
There's no it's on hold for the until further notice. So it could be on hold forever, but no one said to me yet that they've completely scrapped the idea. And I don't think they will. Why would they? They've worked so hard on it.
I think they should keep tinkering with it. Windows 10 as an operating system has to get... I think they were trying to do it together, and they said, let's release it together. But if it didn't work, but the rest of Windows 10, if it was like, okay, we have one build with Astoria and one without, and the one without works really well, but the one with Astoria has all these issues, I completely understand why you would take Astoria out, say, we're going to keep working on this for a while, or we're going to put this on hold for a bit, finish the operating system, and then when this is finished, then you bring this one in later. That makes perfect sense.
Right, absolutely. Yeah. But
they're shipping phones today with Windows 10. It's got to work.
Yeah, I think we'll see some of the technology it uses in future releases, but not as Astoria. Like a few of the technologies, whatever. I don't know what they're planning to do with it, but I have asked, is it like scrapped? And they've said, no, it's not scrapped. It's on hold. All the people I've asked have said this. And when I first heard about this back a long time ago when I didn't care, which is terrible for me to say, but Astoria and that is just not down my street. They said it was gone with that they were negotiating what they wanted to do with it, which didn't seem good because when they negotiate, it usually means they're not too sure what they want to do with it in the first place. So when I heard that they were not sure what they wanted to do with it, I was like, okay. And then it didn't show up in future builds, and it was completely gone since when was it completely gone? 10.5 something, 10.4 maybe, I don't know. 10.4, 10.5, 10.1, I don't know. Yeah, and it's like. They've got Project Islandwood, and I think that'll be enough for now.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah,
I'm sure they will circle back to Astoria if nothing picks up, because Astoria was a simple, you just take the Android app, you move it to Windows, it works. If developers still aren't interested in the platform even after Islandwood and Continuum and whatever else they've got going, then I think the Astoria bridge will be a last resort. Because it's just like the cheapest way to go. Like, right, fine, no one gives a crap. Developers, just take your already created app, put it on here. We don't give a toss no more. Whatever else, move on. Because a lot of people think, and I'm kind of falling for this as well. A lot of people think Microsoft's Windows Phone strategy, Windows Mobile strategy right now is it's very hard to explain. They're kind of leaving it, but not forever. Like this mobile release is not strong. It's not a strong mobile release. Windows Phone 7 was a great release. Windows Phone 8 was a great release. Windows 10 Mobile, it's kind of missing that wow as the other releases had. And I believe Microsoft plans to reignite Windows 10 Mobile down the line. But as Microsoft actually put in a quote earlier this year with one of their builds, every setback has a major comeback. So this first release of Windows 10 Mobile is the setback. But there will be a major comeback at some point, which is good news, I guess.
I think it was pretty clear this summer, and this isn't like insider, this is just me speculating, and others pointed this out as well. It seemed pretty clear that Panos Panay didn't have a lot to do with the 950 and 950 XL. He even said at his keynote, I've only been with these a few months or something like that. And so I don't think he designed them from the ground up like he does the Surface, which the Surface Pro 4 is beautiful. And I have faith that Panos Panay can help design a beautiful phone. And I don't think that he wasn't there for the start of these, I don't think. This was this holdover from the Nokia days. And why wouldn't you wait a bit until you... Because imagine if you had Windows 10 Mobile from December through like March. They've like ironed out all these kinks and they've kind of figured out how Continuum works and they get this all rolling. And then you come out and you say, we have a Surface phone. It's running Windows 10 Mobile, which is already out there. It's attached to the 100 and probably at that point 90 million users on Windows 10. And Panos Panay could put his like Panos stamp of approval where he's like, I built this phone from the ground up. The same way that I built the Surface Pro 4, the same way I built the Surface Book. And people would be like, yeah, that's fine. Because tech people like Surfaces, and they like that name. So the press would be big. And then you use a device to sell the operating system instead of operating system that no one uses to sell a device. Because people look at devices, they make headlines. So I think that's what's going to happen. It's going to be whenever the Surface phone comes, that's when Microsoft's going to say, pull out all the stuff, throw it at the fans. Windows 10, Windows 10.
You know, on the heels of the Surface phone, the rumored Surface phone, I'm not sure if anyone has actually mentioned this or written about it or whatever. But the Surface phone, the original report said it was coming in the spring of 2016. Believe it isn't. I believe it's coming in the fall of 2016. I don't know if that was already an article or not, but that's what I've been told. But this isn't bad news. Like I said, this initial release of Windows 10 Mobile is not strong. Microsoft has a year to fix it up and make it just as great as its previous releases. And I believe that's kind of half the reason why they've postponed this Surface phone, because they want to release the Surface phone with a strong platform that actually has the wow factor to it. Because imagine releasing a Surface phone now. It's like, oh, the Surface, the hardware is amazing, but the software's crap.
Yeah, exactly. That's what. Yeah, they need to figure this operating system.
If they give it a year, in a year's time, we hope Windows 10 Mobile will be back up to that standard of wow, this is great, and then they can release a Surface phone and go, this is the Surface phone. This is the best Windows 10 device you'll ever use. Whatever else, it has the hardware is perfect. It feels good. It's designed like a Surface, just small. Not only that, the software. This is the software you all know and love. The software on your desktop now runs here. All this other good stuff.
Because if at that point Win32 apps are supported, and some of this, someone said that we might not see it next year. When a Surface phone comes, whenever it does come, and maybe they don't brand it that way, though they should. I agree with you. Yeah, it
will be a stronger release, and that's really what Microsoft needs right now. Because right now they've kind of got no ground to step on with this whole release. The 950 and 950. The 950 and the 950 XL will not sell well. I can guarantee you they won't sell well. They will not be as popular as, say, a 640 or a 9... I guess maybe the 930, because I don't think the 930 sold well either. But the 920 sold really well. That's the only Lumia flagship since Windows Phone 8 that sold well, I believe. So, yeah, if they can wait a year and then come out with a great product with great software and great hardware and whatever else, and say this is the penultimate Windows 10 mobile device, they want to win it. Because not only that, the Surface brand is actually a viable brand now everywhere. In the United States, I believe. In the UK here, definitely. People love the Surface. They know what Surface is. I imagine in other countries in Europe also have a similar idea about the Surface. So releasing a Surface phone will only encourage people to buy one, because they're like, oh, I have a Surface tablet. I've heard about the Surface. People say good things. Now they've made a phone. And it's apparently the same Windows 10 that runs on the Surface. I can run my desktop apps on here. I can run Google Chrome or whatever because of the Continuum thing.
Yeah, I don't know if that. I don't know. We're hoping here that that's the case.
Well, Microsoft are working on it. Microsoft have been working on it for a while.
Yeah.
And that's what they are working, because they can do it with the architecture. It's the same Windows underneath anyway. I mean, the mobile SKU right now is kind of different from the desktop one, but they can work. They have been looking at this for a while, and I don't see why they wouldn't do it. Yeah. Why wouldn't they? If they have a Surface phone that's on, on the architecture that could run it, why would they not?
No, and they better call it that. They better call it a Surface
Yeah,
Pro.
they wouldn't call it Lumia. Why would they? Because the Lumia brand, people have dismissed the Lumia brand here in the UK. I mean, actually, not here in the UK. The Lumia brand in the UK is not bad. I mean, people know what a Lumia is and whatnot. But in the US, people dismiss Lumia. It's like, oh, it's a Lumia, whatever.
All right. Speaking of Surfaces, and in contrast to phones not doing well, the article this week that you're going to talk about and we're going to talk about tablets are actually going up. People are projecting 2-in-1s are up, which proves your point that the Surface is doing well. So do you think that's actually, because they predicted it's going to go up significantly, do you really think the Windows market share is going to grow when it comes to tablets?
Well, Windows 8.1 was a great tablet operating system, and I've said this before, Windows 10 kind of isn't. It's kind of a step backwards from the easy-to-use tablet UI that was Windows 8.1, but I guess with these two, does a hybrid count as a tablet, like a 2-in-1? Can we count?
Well, that's by definition, I guess, a hybrid has.
Can we count the Surface Book as a tablet?
Oh, not that one, but a regular, but a regular Surface, yeah.
Yeah, so but yeah, then because these hybrids are very popular now, and they're becoming the norm. Really, a hybrid these days. It's very hard to buy a laptop that's just a laptop. It's like if you're getting a high-end laptop, there's a high chance it can do some random weird flipping
or touch screens or 360 stuff. PC does what?
Yeah, it's like it's very difficult. If you're buying low end, then yeah, it's just a clamshell laptop. But I mean, slowly but surely we're moving away from that and becoming devices are becoming more flexible. Apparently.
Yeah. All right, we're almost out of time, which is amazing because we didn't have a ton of stories that I thought this week. But I want one, and I really want to hear this from you. What is it like being a Windows fan outside of the US?
It's poor. I'll tell you one thing. It's super poor. I mean, it's Microsoft's in the United States' fault. Even the Microsoft in the UK, they kind of struggle with some of the stuff. Like, I have contacts in the UK with Microsoft who help me out with review units and stuff, and even they're like, oh, we don't know. We haven't been given nothing yet. And like, oh, what is this? Microsoft US are just like, oh, they're like, if you're not within the United States of America, even Canada sometimes get the cold shoulder. It's like, if you're not in these, how many states are there? 50 something? 50. Is there 50?
Yeah, 50.
If you're not within these 50 states, we don't care. We don't care about you. Right. You can get our devices in 3 years' time for all we give a crap. Bing is great in America. Nobody uses Bing in America. People use Bing in Europe and wherever else in the world, and Bing doesn't work.
But it's better in America.
And it's better in America. Bing in Europe. Microsoft releases the Lumia 950 and the 950 XL in the America first. No one gives a damn about the Lumia 950 and 950 in America. People in the UK actually don't mind the Lumia devices.
10% market share for Lumia.
Yeah, they're like, I would actually buy a new Lumia, and like, we don't care. You can get it.
I see Lumias around in public and people using things, but no Microsoft stores for us here. And this is the UK, which, to be fair, while we might not get it the same day as the US, we often do get it. But there are countries that like never get this stuff, or like it's like forever. They're like, oh, we'll never get it here. I remember we have some readers from Australia, and they used to always go on and on about how Cortana's not there yet, and it took years to get Cortana to Australia. And they never get these devices and all this sort of thing. And I'm sure it's frustrating. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. You know, when I first moved to the UK, I'd be like, yeah, whatever. Okay, yeah, I have to use Bing US. No, it's a pretty big deal. Like, it makes a difference that, like, I'm going home to the US, and there are things that you've thought about having me go buy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, because they're only available in the US. This is very odd.
Yeah, I mean, the Surface Book is like, it's not even here till March next year or something. So, like, we have to wait months for the Surface Book. And by then, and then the Surface Book will be, like, you know, it'll be old. The new Surface Book will be a few months away by that point. Yep. Like, it's like the Microsoft ban last year when it was in the US for like a year, and then it came out in the UK, and then 3 months later they announced the ban too. Yep. So there you go. Good times. But yeah, being I said on Twitter, living in the UK is like living in the US, but a week behind or 2 weeks behind or something. It's like we live in the past. Oh yeah, it's like living in the UK is like living in the US, but in the past. That's what I said. Because it's like we get devices last.
Certain movies get released here before.
Oh yeah, Star Wars. I'm going to see it on the 16th, mate. The 9th of the 16th. It'll be the 17th by the time I watch it. But on the 16th of December,
America.
Yeah, on the 16th of December, I have to leave my house and travel to the cinema to prepare for Star Wars. Yep. Whereas you lot have to wait till the 18th, right?
Yeah, I mean...
Are you going to be in America by then?
I will. I'll be flying while you're
I'm
watching.
going to absolutely spoil it for you.
I think I'm going to be in the air.
In the air as it's on.
Watch it.
Yeah, I'll be
and
there.
I'll land, my plane will land, and I'll get a Skype message from you, and it'll be like, guess who so-and-so was? You'll never believe who died at the end. And I'll be like, Zach, you ain't getting your service book.
Yeah.
I'm just taking this money. Which I don't even know if we're doing yet. Anyway.
Oh
whatever.
yeah, before we sign off, we should say a tool was released this week that allows you to flash a custom ROM onto a select amount of Lumias. I think then the X20 line, I think. Maybe I didn't check the list, or maybe it's the 3s as well. Don't know. Either way, yeah, go and check it out. What's it called? Someone in the chat should tell us. But yeah, it's a new a new tool that allows you to flash custom ROMs, so you can unlock the bootloader and whatever else and do some awesome things with that. So if you're into all that kind of stuff, definitely check that out. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
That's about it. All right then. Well, go crazy, Zach. You ready to put a bow on this? Because it's now officially allowed to talk about Christmas. So put a bow on this and get ready to go.
Yeah, so that was the WinBeta podcast for the week of November 27th. Sean Michael, you can find Sean on Twitter at
Sean_Michael_UK.
And you can find me, Zach Bowden, on Twitter at ZachB_. You can follow WinBeta itself on Twitter at winbeta.org, D-O-T-O-R-G. Facebook, facebook.com/winbeta.org, just a standard dot that time. Google+, search for us. YouTube, subscribe, since you're probably watching this on YouTube. If you're on SoundCloud, then go to youtube.com/WinBetaTV.
And share with your friends. We don't have enough people. I always want more.
Yeah, our YouTube audience is dying. But
more.
our YouTube audience is dying, but our SoundCloud audience is going strong. So
There's
good news. Yeah, people have like listening, not viewing, which is allowed, I guess. But yes, that was the WinBeta podcast. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and we shall see you next week.